The Zionist-Nazi alliance continues as Laura Loomer is actively praising and rehabilitating Azov Battalion Nazis on behalf of NATO. Is anyone surprised that Zionists who actively cheer and support a genocide feels a sense of kinship with Nazis? The guy that Laura Loomer is posing with and actively praising is a notorious neo-Nazi with a ton of Nazi tattoos and quotes of him praising Adolf Hitler. Weird, because Laura Loomer had no problem calling out Nazism in Ukraine when Joe Biden was president. But now that Donald Trump failed to achieve peace in Ukraine and now turning into another standard NATO puppet president, you notice how fast Laura Loomer changes her tune? It's almost as if Laura Loomer is a shameless whore who changes her values and perspective based on who's paying her. Remember that time Laura Loomer was paid to eat dog food on camera? What a disgusting Zionist hag. Laura Loomer knows damn well that Ukraine has a gigantic Nazi problem. The Western corporate media used to cover this all the time, but Laura Loomer is 100% comfortable allying with Nazis because Zionism and Nazism shares the same values, the values of racial supremacy and genocide. Cenk Uygur and the NATO left is finally starting to regret their support for Nazis in Ukraine. Cenk Uygur explains how he can no longer support Ukraine because Ukraine is basically another Israel.
I'm done officially with supporting the Ukrainians' war. But now we've supported you for about 87 years in a row in this war. There's a limit to how long we can go. So now, the second issue is that Ukraine has now become basically Israel. Now, why do I say that? We're a rare show that talks about this phenomenon. It's really important. Remember, Russia was helping Iran and Syria. Israel needed Russia distracted so they could topple Bashar al-Assad. Oh wait, that happened, didn't it? During the Ukraine-Russia war. And that Iran couldn't be helped when Iran was attacked. Oh right, that also happened during the Ukraine-Russia war. So Ukraine and Israel working together to keep Russia busy so that Israel can attack its neighbors and take more territory. So before that was apparent to people who were paying attention, now it's more than apparent, it's obvious because Ukraine is literally joining the war and attacking Iran.
4 years later, and Cenk Uygur is just now reaching the conclusion that anti-imperialists have for years now, that you cannot be pro-Palestine and also pro-Ukraine. This should have been obvious years ago when you had Zelensky said he wants Ukraine to become a big Israel. Now that Israel and Ukraine is formally entering a strategic alliance, the NATO left is just now realizing that they were played for fools. Why did it take Ukraine supporting Donald Trump's illegal war against Iran to finally wake up the NATO left and the role that Ukraine plays in upholding Western imperialism? So not only is Ukraine a tool of US imperialism and Zionism, you should have also stood against the Ukraine proxy war on principle. You should stand against Nazism on principle, because we all know that Nazism and Zionism are geopolitical twins. And Cenk should have known this. These people are always years late on these issues and then copy our positions in the last second in order to salvage their reputation.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family, it's good to be back. It was great meeting all the comrades in Chicago. I had this banger clip that's going around on Instagram. This is a part of my panel discussion I had. And I always reminded every time I do these events, which I had a great time. It's always great to meet comrades. I always realize, like, damn, man, it's so much better, so much easier to talk to people in these live panels, live in person, instead of doing like these awkward live streams I'm not really good at. So here's a bit of the Green Party panel. I had a great time. I'm telling you guys, the Green Party is ripe for the picking, my friends.
I'm way more than just free Palestine. I don't know about you guys. I'm justice for Palestine. Revenge for Palestine. It's important to remember that war crimes, there's no statute of limitations for war crimes. You guys realize that there's over 20,000 Americans who are currently fighting for the IDF and helping them commit genocide in Lebanon and Gaza. 10,000 in the UK, around 5,000 in France. It's a European Western colony. It is a fake country. And you want to know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I'm pretty damn young. I'm going to spend the rest of my life holding these people accountable. I'm waiting.
Goddamn right, my friends. You goddamn right. The Green Party, as I said, is right for the picking. And what's best about the Green Party Summit, at least from my perspective, while I was in Chicago last week, was how much RBN actually radicalized so many members in the Green Party. like whenever I was criticizing NATO, whenever I was criticizing the proxy war, whenever I was trying to induce revolutionary optimism, that's when the crowd was the loudest. And we post some replays of the Green Party Summit, but you have to be there, fam. Like because the way they did the audio, because the way the video was produced, fam. The replay on the videos do not do it justice, man. The crowd was lively. Seeing people's face light up when I was making these banger points that I make all the time on live stream, but I don't see people's reactions. The best I can do is read the chat. I really wish the video did justice because the crowd was so extremely lively. I had a great time. You can see, like, when you watch the replay, like, I pause a lot, I'm laughing a lot. And it seems like I'm kind of crazy when you watch the replay because you don't hear the crowd. The reason why I'm pausing, I'm literally stopping. I'm like, holy shit, the crowd going fucking nuts. Oh, I'm laughing because I will say something and then the crowd will start cracking up as well. But you don't hear it on the replay, which makes it not the same experience, man. You have to be there, which is why I implore all you comrades to come out to one of these local events. Me and Rome, we was strongly discussing doing a college tour of some kind, going around and visiting campuses and universities, like an RBN tour. We gotta fundraise a bit. We gotta grow a little bit for that, but that's the future because I love doing these public events. I love public speaking. I'm way better at this, and everyone who was at the event could tell you, I'm way better at doing this than I am at live stream. And live stream is actually pretty awkward. Talking to myself, laughing to myself, reading the comments, and I'm like, man, I hope they like what I just said. I will be live. I hope they really like what I'm saying right now. But when I'm speaking in public, bro, the room lights up. I feel the energy. I had Butch Ware to my left, Jill Stein to my right, and Butch is like hyping me up everything I say. Butch is a really hard guy. Butch is a very hard guy not to like, especially when you meet him in person. Like if you watch the summit I did, like Butch was like hyping me up everything I said. It was a good time, man. I love the Green Party people. The Green Party is right for the taking. They have the infrastructure. They have the know-how to beat the lawfare by the duopoly, real ballot access, real local wins. And RBN, we have radicalized a lot of their key members. You guys have no idea. That is our party. That shit is ours. We taking that shit, fam. But as I said many times before, man, I'm trying to form coalitions. I learned a lot throughout this RBN experiment with my failures, with my successes. And I'm like, bro, anyone who is like-minded, as long as I'm not conceding on my core values. When I'm talking about like people who are forming a coalition around anti-Zionism, anti-capitalism, who are not afraid to promote socialism. Like these are my people. And the Green Party, their platform is fire. They have there's potential there, fam. There's true potential. And the reason why the Green Party had failures before, because they didn't have the people power. It's up to us to build a third party movement. You know what I mean? I'm not saying any previous criticisms of the Green Party isn't legit, but it's up to us to be the people power to make change. So I saw like some things in the Green Party I didn't like. So I'm like, okay, let me influence them. Let me try to push them to my direction. Let's try to change this. Then, bro, they are more than open. They are more than willing to have smart, intelligent, ready to act leftists infiltrate the party and help guide them to victory. Because without that people power, they stand no chance. No third party stand a chance. So whether it's the Green Party, whether it's Shama Sawant and Worker Strike Back, who I have a fantastic relationship with, and I wish her the best in her primary with Adam Smith this week. Whether it's with the ACP, I would die on this hill. I don't care what anyone say, man. They're an anti-Zionist party, anti-capitalist party. There's potential there. There's a potential for a true coalition to form, a true anti-Zionist movement outside of the duopoly. That's why the DSA's mission is so important for the establishment, to prevent this formation of a active working class, anti-Zionist, anti-capitalist. The movement is ready to be built. People just need to stop being lazy and get in the game, man. A lot of people are just happy cheerleading Democrats, progressive NATO left Democrats, and just feeling good because of the career successes of the professional managerial class. The DSA have won plenty of elections, my friends. The problem is what happens afterwards. The problem is the PMC left. They see winning the election as the victory, as the only thing that matters. Even if it means you conceding your core values, even if it means you have to support NATO, even if you have to endorse and support genocidal monsters like Hakeem Jeffries, according to them, the end justifying the means. So, as I mentioned before, they're not the first time DSA people won. The problem is how to hold them accountable, and that movement has no accountability mechanisms, which is why we are already seeing DSA electeds starting to throw all their core promises under the bus. They're already walking back their support of Palestine. I have a few examples of that. While at the same time, every single DSA elected politician is pro-NATO scum. They have zero criticism of the NATO war, which is why this Laura Loomer interview, this is propaganda gold for Putin and Russia. Laura Loomer coming out as a hardcore Ukraine supporter, as I covered in my hotspot in the beginning. Russia, RT, everyone like, bro, just let her cook. Because there's nothing that reveals more about the nefarious nature of Ukraine and the role that they play in geopolitics than Volodymyr Zelensky, a man who is busy fighting a war, a man who had so many interview requests from corporate media. Can you imagine how much BBC, DW, CNN, God knows Ukrainian media? Can you imagine how many Western neocon reporters want to interview Zelensky? And he's very selective on who he interviews. So instead of interviewing like liberal journalists who are looking for a break, he reestablishes the long-time alliance and connection between Zionists and Nazis. The Nazi-Zionist alliance continues. So Laura Loomer comes out, extremely pro-Ukraine. A lot of people are like, man, she's definitely being paid for by some Ukrainian oligarch. And she was flown in by some, believe it or not, a Muslim. They're just one of the richest people in Ukraine, this Muslim oligarch guy. He flew in Laura Loomer. So you had a Muslim billionaire flying in Laura Loomer, as Laura Loomer is spending her time calling not just like people she accused of being terrorists bad. She says that all Muslims are bad. Like she calls all Muslims rats. Like the insanely bigoted thing that she said has led her to even be condemned by extreme far right figures. Like people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, just on top of my head. Fox News has like a ban on her. She says things that's so racist, she makes a lot of Republicans uncomfortable. At least they don't want to be seen with her. But you guys see how Zelensky is more than happy to have her friendship. How their country is so desperate that he needs Laura fucking Loomer to do propaganda for you. And as I was mentioning before, a lot of people are bringing this up that Loomer got paid. Yeah, we all know she's a whore. We all know she's a whore who would eat dog food for a paycheck, fam. But then, does Laura Loomer understands the role that Ukraine is playing for the Epstein regime? Let's get into the Cenk Uygur story. Because now that Ukraine and Israel is no longer hiding it, because under the Biden administration, they try their best to try to paint Ukraine as some like liberation fight for democracy, human rights. You guys know how like Democrats, they're better managers of the empire. But now you have Donald Trump with the unapologetic imperialist. We are the strong army who's going to conquer people. We're going to dismantle the ICC. We don't give a fuck about human rights. We'll bomb hospitals. It's nothing but real politic power. So now you got to see how everything changes when a Republican is in charge. This is why a lot of tankies and accelerationists, we're like, man, Democrats, they're actually the more effective managers of the empire, because when they were selling the Ukraine war, it was all about human rights. We got to stand for human rights. Now that it's all about real politics, real power, when a Republican is in charge, when they say the quiet part out loud when the Republican's in charge, now Ukraine's like, bitch, we don't have to give a fuck about human rights and democracy anymore. We don't have to pretend we care about peace. We're going to show our hand in real time. And we're going to bomb and attack vessels in the Caspian Sea, attacking Iranian ships because they have Russian military cargo. So Ukraine is actively looking to promote and start World War III. This is why Laura Loomer, who would love to see a broader war that can help bring Iran down, because Iran is dismantling the Trump regime. They would love to see NATO get more involved. They would love to drag the Gulf states in even more, which is why they're melting down over Saudi Arabia demanding Donald Trump not to restart the war, which Donald Trump was looking for a reason to pull out, to be clear. But we have this Epstein regime, we have this Epstein axis that is fighting against the axis of resistance and their allies, fighting against the people who are looking to create a multipolar world and an option for people who don't want to be victims to dollar dominance, who don't want to be forced to listen to United States hypocritical lectures about human rights, as they are the largest funders of terrorism and genocide in modern human history. So yeah, Laura Loomer was paid, but she understands the geopolitics of this. If anything, Laura Loomer being skeptical of Ukraine just because she was trying to grift off the audience that Tucker Carlson created, being skeptical of war. That's what they did during the Biden administration. Hey, we're going to criticize Biden's war. But once a Republican got in charge, Laura Loomer was like, yeah, I'm actually ideologically in line with this. So now this is what they're openly doing now. They don't have to hide it, which is massively embarrassing to NATO left. And we're going to cover Cenk Uygur, and you guys know I don't have a lot of respect for Cenk Uygur. But what does it say that Cenk is the only guy I've seen, the only NATO lecturers I've seen who even acknowledge that this is happening? RBN viewers, people who follow my work, you guys been knew this. We've been knew about the alliance and the axis of genocide. How Zelensky said he wants Ukraine to be a big Israel. How Ukraine was begging Netanyahu to continue to help assist them in the war against Russia, how Ukraine was bragging about helping the United States and Israel launch war on Iran. And now they're attacking Iranian ships, trying to expand the front on the war. Look, as as the Iran and Ukraine war converge, Israel and Ukraine may come together. Yep. And here's the other headline. How Russia helped build Iran into a strategic partner against the West. Iran, look, this is all from the Jerusalem Post. People are like, why won't Russia? Why won't Putin do more? We need Putin to do more. the leftists with Russia derangement syndrome. Why don't Russia do more? Russia's fucking soloing NATO. Russia is soloing NATO, fighting the NATO countries and incurring heavy costs because of that, while still materially supporting Iran, and they also materially supported Venezuela by providing the missile interceptors, anti-airs, which is why many people were suspicious when Delcy Rodriguez and the Venezuelan government didn't use any of the military equipment that Russia gave them. So despite the fact that they're fighting NATO and Ukraine, who is engaging in terrorist actions in order to destabilize Russia, they're going after their infrastructure, they're going after civilians, they just bombed the beach, they're essentially engaging in Israeli tactics. You still have Russia helping Iran. Iran helped Moscow by supplying it with Shahed drones. Now, there's a rumor that Russia and China is helping Iran target United States soldiers and critical bases in the region, which sounds legitimate. And there would be nothing wrong if they did that, because that is essentially what the entirety of NATO is doing against Russia. Russia, like this nonsense about how Ukraine, like this is what this article is saying. This is the bullshit that we've been seeing in Western media, the copium, as Kiev is about to be surrounded by Russia, as they've been advancing very steadily. They have like these crucial cities they're capturing around Kiev. Like, this war has been checkmate. Like, this has been checkmate. But in order to sell people on this war, someone asked for the dates. Like, I'll show you guys all the recent articles. Look, show the dates. I do put the dates most of the time, I think. This was just posted a few days ago. All the articles I show you, unless I state otherwise, is pretty recent. You guys, as I said, I'm always in the lab cooking. You guys, I read so many articles every single day. I have receipts for days, fam. Trust me. These are current articles. We're gonna get to it. Homie. I got you. But as I was mentioning, hope for the West as Ukraine gets dismantled by Russia, and the KD ratio between Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers is absolutely through the roof, around 12-1 in many instances. They have to pretend that Ukraine is innovating battlefield technologies. Like Israel, Ukraine is now helping the West learn lessons about the future of modern war. You mean how to have your population completely collapse because you're used as a proxy for NATO? And I know people who follow the news heard this talking about how Ukraine is modernizing warfare. It's complete horseshit. It is the United States, UK, Germany, and NATO all providing intelligence, providing technology to Ukraine. It is the entire NATO intelligence apparatus against Russia, and they're still losing. And they keep pretending that, it's amazing how Ukraine is teaching us all these lessons. Ukraine is teaching us shit. We are running the damn war. But if you look at Israeli media, they always been super anti-Russia. They always been super pro-Ukraine, because they keep mentioning how, hey man, Russia was opposing us in Syria. They oppose us in Venezuela. They oppose us in the Isaac Accords. They consistently oppose us on international law. So that's why I don't understand. Like, I know people got criticism, like, bro, like, how can you expect Russia to do more? Like, shouldn't we in the empire do more to stop these monsters? Because this is what Russia is doing, despite fighting the NATO hordes, who are willing to throw as much manpower to weaken Russia as possible. Because if you weaken Russia and their inability to support the Zionist enemies in the region, which is, well, a lot of people was upset because Russia allowed Syria to fall, because once again, they was bogged down by NATO. If Russia's bogged down by NATO, and make it Russia less likely to assist Venezuela, make them less likely to assist Cuba. The more that the empire wins, the more that imperialism expands, the more that our corrupt capitalist class gains power through their imperial conquest, the more likely they are able to crack down, the more resources, the more power that they are able to have to crack down on dissent back at home. That make them more likely to spread war and be successful in spreading terrorism across the globe. This is basic geopolitics that whenever I bring this kind of stuff up, the DSA left and the professional managerial class, the people with the degrees, the people with the degrees, the people who say they study this for a living. I have a master's in political science. I have a bachelor's in history. I'm studying for my doctorate right now. Yeah, NATO is defending us from Russian aggression, and they are the front line for democracy. We got to stand against Russia and for NATO in order to fight against authoritarian regimes. That's the kind of shit that people say when they have a doctorate degree. When they are highly educated. These are the people whose degrees we snatch. We snatch these people's degrees. Because whenever anyone, especially me, a college dropout, a Midwestern black boy, whenever I school these people on geopolitics, like I've been schooling the NATO left for years now, it leads to them having massive contempt. Who the fuck does this nigga think he is? Trying to tell me I can't support NATO. He telling me that I support Nazis? The fuck does this nigga think he is? That's what they all be saying. That's all the dissent I have whenever I push these NATO leftists about their geopolitics. Now it's inherently incoherent. It's incoherent if you are saying you're supporting Palestine. It is NATO, the military alliance, who continue to provide aid, support, intelligence, and diplomatic immunity to Israel as they slaughter Palestinians. NATO is funding the UAE. They're sending weapons to the UAE. The UAE will then send those weapons to Sudan. But then these professional managerial class DSA leftist scum, they would then turn around like, we gotta free Sudan, free Palestine. I also support NATO, who is complicit in all the atrocities. And then me, once again, a college dropout with no education, no degrees, I'd be like, hey man, you guys know your geopolitics is incoherent. Pooh and Puppet, you're a wrecker. Nick, you're a wrecker in the DSA. They call me that all the time. Nick, you're a wrecker. You're a purity tester. Stop being a purity tester. Yeah, we support a little bit of Nazis. Come on, man. Why can't we support a little bit of Nazis? Don't you know we want some social programs? Stop being a purity tester. Fam, I'm a proud purity tester. I'm a proud purity tester, and I hold these people feet to the fire. Because I call it like, yeah, you guys are good at virtue signaling. I'm glad that people are saying stuff about Zionism and the Israeli regime, but your geopolitics is counterproductive. And it puts you in a position where you are using Palestine to advance your career. You're using Palestine to advance your career and to rehabilitate a genocidal party. And this is not a small disagreement. Whether you can support Nazism, support the Zionist axis and their attempts to destabilize the world, that is not a small disagreement. Dr. Cornel West, or I should call Cornball West because we stole his doctorate degree a long time ago. For example, you coming out and support the Mossad protest? Zohran Mamdani saying Iran is an authoritarian regime and repeating the Mossad lie that they engage in mass killing of their own people, being puppets of the empire. These are not small disagreements between us. These are stark differences on how we view the world. The devil's bargain is a stark difference on how we view the world, and it needs to be reconciled with. And I'm not allowing them just to move on without this reconciliation. You guys spent my entire teenage years, my entire time when I was in college, as a young adult, I heard these people say, we got punched Nazis, we oppose fascism, we're anti-fascism. And then you guys switched it up right on me. You guys went from principled anti-Nazism because you want to call your neighbors a Nazi because they may not have the same position on you on LGBTQ issues. So your neighbors who disagree with the DSA left and the Democratic Party about like the trans issue, LGBTQ issues, they are Nazis who need to be punched in the mouth. You can't talk to your neighbor if they have socially conservative views in a socially conservative country. But people who have actual Nazi tattoos, who follow the teachings of Stefan Bandera, who openly said that they admire Adolf Hitler, a country have Nazi holidays, who crack down and ban socialism, ban the right to collective bargaining, ban oppositional media. I mean, Nazis doing real Nazi shit. You just call your neighbor Nazis. You guys love calling your neighbors Nazis, but you see real Nazis for the first time, and then you decide to ally with them because you feel like it will give you more political power. You feel like you can win more elections. I want to win an election, and I got to win these suburban Nazi wine moms over, so I got to support Nazis in Ukraine. Y'all know I said I was principally anti-Nazi, but I got to win this election. That's the NATO left, and so I have a hard time, and so I refuse to let them like just put to the side. They're using the issue of Palestine, and this is what hurts the most. This is what is the most blackpilling, is how many people who have imperialist takes, how many people who have reactionary politics, who've been able to rehabilitate their image and then continue to spread their bad ideas just because they get an issue that is easy to get right, genocide. So you have all these free Palestine people who was for free Syria, and they supported the head choppers in Syria, like Zohran Mamdani and his wife, like Mehdi Hassan, like Al Jazeera, like TYT, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian. Cenk Uygur, he was spreading the lies about Syria. Remember when they smeared Aaron Mate for debunking the Israeli Mossad lie that Assad gassed his own people? Because TYT, like the United States left, their job is to be useful idiots for the Democratic Party imperial machine, to say good stuff and then lead people down geopolitical positions that help the Israelis. So here's Cenk Uygur once again. Cenk Uygur finally admitting that he was wrong in supporting the Nazis in Ukraine. And this clip is amazing to me because Cenk Uygur accurately describes how Ukraine has been playing a role geopolitically to help Israel. And when you listen to this clip, and I'll play it in full before I start breaking it down, you can tell that he knew this. Why is that important? Because it's easy for these grifters to pretend like they're dumb and, we just lay out. How could I have known there's Nazis in Ukraine? How could I have known Joe Biden was going to fund a genocide? They are late on purpose and then copy us last second after the damage is already done in order to salvage their reputation. And we're seeing this en masse now. So a lot of these people, they like to play dumb in order to get away with this grift. But me, I'm like, bro, these people are not as dumb as people give them credit for. Like this, analyzing politics, being in this business for as long as Cenk Uygur does, studying this stuff, you inherently cannot be a dumb person. Like, I do not believe these people are dumb. Not at all. It takes us, what's the best way to say this? It takes a certain level of intellectual oomph to even do this, you know what I mean? To be able to collect your thoughts and like preparing segments. And TYT, they'll be live for hours, bro. Like collecting segments, remembering the segments, organizing all this stuff. It takes practice, bro. Dumb people can't do this. I'm sorry. Like people who are just like dumb, which it does is this. Like people who are just like, damn, man. You sure? You are a little short up there. There are people who can't do it. So Cenk and them, they are not dumb. They take positions because they're actually smart and strategic that will benefit their career. That's why Cenk and Anna is coming out as more pro-popular despite their horrific positions, because they see which way the winds are blowing. Once again, these people are not as stupid as you think. So here Cenk Uygur, and once again, I want you to pay attention to his explanation on why he's abandoning Ukraine, because it's on point and exposes how he always knew he was being a useful idiot for the Israeli regime.
I'm done officially with supporting the Ukrainians' war. So it's been a long time now. I don't know, they seem like they've been at war for about 18 years now. So the reason I was in favor of it, because Russia attacked them. It was definitely Russian aggression. Yes, there were reasons and excuses, etc. Bottom line is, you attack someone like Israel attacks Lebanon, it's Israel's fault. Russia attacks Ukraine, it's Russia's fault. So number two, we had promised the Ukrainians defense when we had them give up their nuclear weapons. Okay. But now we've supported you for about 87 years in a row in this war. There's a limit to how long we can go. What if the war goes for 2 centuries? Do we still owe you, right?
So I'll stop you at half point, because I have a few things I want to say here. First, comparing Russia fighting back against NATO, who is arming Nazi militias in their territory, who is threatening their border and slaughtering ethnic Russians, to Israeli genocidal aggression in Lebanon, in Syria, and Gaza. That is insane to even make that comparison. Russia, who is respecting the will of the ethnic Russians in the Donbass region who voted via referendum to be part of Russia, and Ukraine was punishing via torture and mass executions, there was people in the Donbass who was upset at Putin for not coming in earlier. This is why neocons expected this war to pop off, because they're like, oh, it's only a matter of time before Russia gets involved in Ukraine because of what we were stirring up there. It is my position that condemning Russia over invading Ukraine is mostly meaningless as a Westerner, because I maintain that any country that has any sort of military power, across all ideological spectrums, would have did the same thing as Russia has done. And we bring up this example many times before. Like, can you imagine if you had China, Russia, and Iran? Let's say there's Iran that was sending arms to Nazis in Mexico. We can think of an ideological equivalent, like an anti-American extremist terrorist. Imagine if Cuba and Russia, if any of these countries was arming extremists in Mexico who not were just talking shit, but they was actually hunting down and murdering Mexican Americans in northern Mexico. Do you know how fucking fast the United States would do some shit? Do you know how fast any hegemon would have ever done basic defense of their own border? Because sovereignty and expressing your sovereignty is what all countries have the right to do. You see the NATO coalition who fund genocide after genocide after genocide. It's not like they're peace lovers. Like, it's not like China is building next to your border, you know what I mean? It's not like fucking Switzerland. It's not like Brazil, you know what I mean? It's not like a peace-loving military coalition is building at your border. It's a military coalition that has been at war every single year of their existence, led by a country who's been at war for 200 years out of 250 years of their existence. There are warlike people that supported Nazism, and they also launching CIA operations in your country using Ukraine as a base. This is what Lavrov talked about all the time. They knew this stuff. But Cenk is comparing this, a country defending their sovereignty, their borders, from aggression from a hegemon that is genocidal. And he views that as the same, as the crimes that the Israelis are committing in Lebanon in pursuit of the Greater Israel Project. Yeah, I misspoke. Yeah, 242 years out of 250 years. So people think Putin is unreasonable? Are you serious? Yes, I guess it would be unreasonable if like a peace-loving country was next to your border and you start freaking out. But it's the most warlike people who are in the business of destabilizing countries. Their leaders have openly said they want to destabilize your country. Their leaders, like Victoria Nuland, openly said they want to break Russia up into like 7 different countries. They're saying all this crazy shit after the Cold War. How is it unreasonable for them to be like, hey man, I don't want you on my border? It's okay if Ukraine is a neutral state, but you can't be on my border. That is the Russian perspective in this war. And they was willing to risk an entire Ukrainian population collapse just so NATO will have the right to expand to Russia's border. That is what this war is about. Well, in a nutshell, there's a longer conversation to be had about how BlackRock wanted to buy Ukraine, privatize Ukraine, how the military-industrial complex was set to make record profits because of this war, how they want to get rid of old weapon stockpiles and reinnovate newer weapon systems. So the progressive left had an alliance with the military-industrial complex. Isn't that weird? But now, Cenk Uygur, and it's the second reason I wanted to stop you here, and then I'll play it all the way through here. It's because Cenk tries to make a funny joke where he's like, we've been supporting you for 50 years now. We've been supporting you forever now. That's the joke he's making. He's like, all right, at what point does it end? You guys notice how Cenk makes that point? I'll play that part again. He's like, we've been supporting you forever. When does this war end? Are we destined to support you forever? Yes, Cenk. Dipshit. This is the argument that the tankies, the anti-imperialists, the people who have been advocating for peace with Russia, this is the argument we've been making from day one. This point that he just makes about, are we obligated to support Ukraine forever? We told you that there is no win condition for Ukraine against Russia. The only way this ends is as a forever, the best case scenario for the West, just understanding geopolitics, is that this becomes a never-ending quagmire. That's the best case scenario for the West. So they can weaken Russia, drain their military power, distract them from geopolitical events elsewhere. But victory was never on the table. What was always on the table was a forever war, which would lead to a complete population collapse of Ukraine. Notice how Cenk Uygur didn't care about any of that beforehand. Now you want to come out and say, well, I just now realize you guys don't have a win condition. I now realize that you guys have no exit strategy for this war. This is the same shit that we've been saying. This is the same analysis that have been coming from the people that you guys smear are just pro-Russia. Which I am pro-Russia. I like Russia. I won't apologize for that. But to me, it's not pro-Russia for you to say, hey, man, I don't think we should go to war with a global nuclear power. To me, it's not even pro-Russia to say, hey, man, I don't think we should send these Ukrainian men to a meat grinder just because we want to make Russia weaker. So let me play. I'll finish the clip all the way through. I tried to stop at those 2 points because I want to hear that point again. The point he makes is the point we've been making from day one. And this is what these people always do. And it's kind of frustrating. I'm not going to lie, as someone who's part of this profession, on how they let us lead in front. You guys realize how many people in the Bernie media industrial complex, how many people in the NATO left, they viewed me as deplorable. Like, this was like one of the red lines. Like, it was me supporting forced to vote and Jimmy Dore was one, but me being so actively opposed to the NATO proxy war that they support, that is probably the core reason why the Bernie Sanders left hates me. That's the core reason why you guys see why I'm blacked out of media. So we take all the bullets, we take all the shit being right first, and then these people come out years later when it is safe and it's still opposition in order to rehabilitate their image. Okay, I'm glad you finally reached the right conclusion, but what is the next issue you're going to get wrong for the next few years? So I'm sorry I went on a long diatribe because there were a lot to say in the intro. I'll let the video play all the way through this time. I just had to chime in there, and now I'll give my final thoughts once the video ends.
I'm done officially with supporting the Ukrainians' war. So it's been a long time now. I don't know, they seem like they've been at war for about 18 years now. So the reason I was in favor of it, because Russia attacked them. It was definitely Russian aggression. Yes, there were reasons and excuses, etc. Bottom line is, you attack someone like Israel attacks Lebanon, it's Israel's fault. Russia attacks Ukraine, it's Russia's fault. So number two, we had promised the Ukrainians defense when we had them give up their nuclear weapons. Okay, but now we've supported you for about 87 years in a row in this war. There's a limit to how long we can go. What if the war goes for 2 centuries? Do we still owe you, right? So now, the second issue is that Ukraine has now become basically Israel. Now, why do I say that? And we're a rare show that talks about this phenomenon. It's really important. Remember, Russia was helping Iran and Syria. Israel needed Russia distracted so they could topple Bashar al-Assad. Oh wait, that happened, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
During the Ukraine-Russia war. And that Iran couldn't be helped when Iran was attacked. Oh right, that also happened during the Ukraine-Russia war. So Ukraine and Israel working together to keep Russia busy so that Israel can attack its neighbors and take more territory. So before that was apparent to people who were paying attention. Now it's more than apparent, it's obvious, because Ukraine is literally joining the war and attacking Iran.
Thank you for finally catching up, Cenk. And look at this sleazy salesman that Cenk Uygur is. He's like, yeah, well, you know, at TYT, we want a few people that keep it real with you, bro. We gonna keep it real with you. This segment, what he just said in the last 30 seconds, it exposes that Cenk Uygur is not as dumb as he presents in order to do the bidding of the establishment. So the entire time you were supporting Ukraine, you knew how Ukraine was helping Israel. You understood that Ukraine was being used as a tool of the empire in order to stop and slow down Russia from helping out their geopolitical allies, because that's what he described. He then, after formally coming out against Ukraine, all right, let me explain why Ukraine is actually helping the empire. So you've been doing that. So why do you support Ukraine in the beginning? What? Why are all the NATO leftists pretending that they can't connect these same dots that me, a college dropout, can, and fucking Cenk Uygur can? You want to tell me all these NATO leftists with their master degrees didn't know this? How many of them have the same analysis that Cenk Uygur, who knows all the stuff that Cenk Uygur knows about the role that Ukraine played for the empire, but they still bite the bullet and they still support NATO for what? Their career. Now, this is the problem that DSA people will never acknowledge, where they're like, well, this is one thing we disagree with. Fam, if they're willing to fold on something as important as starting a nuclear war, a potential nuclear war, a destabilizing war, if they're not brave enough to stand against their party, against the NATO war machine, what else will they sell you out on? They're going to sell you out on everything else. It's a character test. And every single professional managerial class career scum who want to climb in the Democratic Party, they pretend they don't know these basic facts that even fucking Cenk Uygur understood. I'll put this receipt up earlier. I have so many of these receipts, bro. I can go all day. I have the Zelensky saying he want to be big Israel. Like, these things exist, bro. Behind the scenes, how Israel secretly supplied Ukraine's military machine. So Cenk knew this, but he still supported NATO in the first place. What does that say about them? And because they have no arguments to these just factual arguments I am making about the character of the DSA, who say free Palestine in order to advance their career interests, but are willing to adopt a geopolitics which is counterproductive. Even their favorites, even their favorite landlords from Dubai. So they're now supporting landlords from Dubai who condemn socialism. He's like, I'm not a socialist, I'm a capitalist. Once again, I'm not mad at the Michigan working class people. You guys have horrific choices, bro. Because Haley Stevens is definitely one of the worst candidates I have ever seen in my life. This is just like Zoran, man. This is our fault, I guess. This is the fault of third party movements. We should have another alternative ready for you guys. But you guys notice how I've never been enthusiastic about it. This guy is a Dubai landlord. Taking money for all these shady groups. And he's a NATO leftist. Abdul El Said, I think that's how he says his name. Everyone is crushing on him because they don't do research. They just want to feel good. This man is a center left Democrat. I listened to his debate. I'm listening to this man speak. He always distanced himself from socialism. He consistently reminds people, like, hey man, I'm not like DSA, bro. Like, yeah, I want free Palestine, but I don't want to do any of that crazy stuff. Which you're running as a senator. None of these progressive Democrats will ever really do anything radical, especially if they're running for Senate. Aren't they running for senator? I kind of going on. This is a Senate seat, right? I'm pretty sure it is. Saeed versus Haley Stevens. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think this is a Senate seat, right? Senate seat. I don't cover electoral politics like that. But the point I'm making, the new progressive hero is a NATO leftist. They are all NATO leftists. Abdul El Said today in the Detroit Free Press on aid to Ukraine. I'm sure that's what they mean here. So when it comes to Ukraine, I think we are involved in a righteous struggle to protect a sovereign nation. He calls them a sovereign nation from being invaded from their neighbor. You guys see how the professional managerial class DSA left? They weaponized stupidity on behalf of the establishment. Stupidity is one of the most dangerous weapons out there, man. The establishment weaponizes it all the time. And the progressives, they always got to pretend that they don't know what a college dropout knows. They have to pretend they don't know what fucking Cenk Uygur knows. They want to pretend they don't know what Ro Khanna used to tweet about. Speaking about progressives who knows what they're doing, I show you guys the tweet all the time. Shit, I might as well find it again. Because every time I show these tweets, it always ends all conversations with NATO leftists. When Ro Khanna used to call out Nazis in Ukraine. He had a tweet that said, we need to stop Congress from funding neo-Nazism in Ukraine. And now he's the biggest supporter of the Ukraine war. So just like Cenk Uygur, Ro Khanna, he knows what he's doing. Abdul El Said, who is a smart guy. What is his education? I heard he's pretty smart. Let's look. Let's say Abdul El Said. Education. I know he's a rich boy. He's a landlord. Yeah, he earned his education at the University of Michigan, Oxford, and Columbia. Damn, the boy a smart boy. He's a smart boy, but he wants you to believe he wants you to believe that he don't know what's going on here. Look at this smart boy. By the way, there's a lot of people who are like, man, Nick, why are you going after this? He's gonna win. It's okay. He's gonna win. So you better get prepared. If you're in Michigan, you better get prepared to know this guy and get ready to hold him accountable, because this guy is about to sell out in record time. I'm telling you guys right now. This fucking Dubai landlord who condemns socialism, this man can't wait to win that seat. And you guys never going to see him ever again. Look at these. This is the next degree that we at RBN we had to take, apparently. Look at this smart boy. Look, he's so much smarter than me. This boy a thinker. He got a bachelor's of science at the University of Michigan. He went to fucking Oxford. Doctor of philosophy. He got a doctorate. We got another doctorate degree we gotta take. Too bad I will never get an interview with him. Can you imagine if this guy sat down with me in a conversation? I would expose his liberal Zionism. I would expose his NATO support. You guys realize how easy it would be for me to take this man's doctorate degree. We had just a few minutes to conversate with me probing him from the, hey man, why do you condemn socialism? Why do you support capitalism? Like, have you seen how many people that have been uplifted out of poverty in China because they pursued a socialist model? Have you seen how much more ahead in terms of life expectancy that Cuba was before the U.S. started? I will have so many questions for him on his socialism. I could grill him on economics. I can grill him on history. I bet you I can expose his entire support for NATO and Europe. The same way I exposed Ro Khanna's fraudulent history about how America, we fight wars because we believe in liberation and justice. This is the smart guy. Doctorate at Oxford. This 2 doctorates? God damn. Am I reading this wrong? This man got 2 doctorates, right? He got a doctorate in philosophy and a doctorate in medicine. Real smart boy. A real thinker on this man. So do you believe that this guy who got 2 doctorate degrees, so we got a few degrees we can take off this boy. You really believe that he don't know what sovereignty means? Thank you, man. I saw the notification. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me on Patreon. That's how you support my citizen journalism. As I said, bro, as we continue to grow, we can do college tours. We got a lot planned in the future. We just got to organically grow. You know what I mean? I appreciate all the support. So this guy is not. He doesn't know what sovereignty means. He says Ukraine is a sovereign country. You don't know about Victoria Nuland. You don't know about NATO purposely infiltrating himself in the Ukrainian government. You don't know about them cracking down on oppositional media. You don't know about them banning. Well, they banned Socialist Party. The landlord from Dubai, Abdul Al-Said, I bet he loves that part. I bet that's probably why he supports Nazis in Ukraine. He saw the Ukrainians ban socialist parties, and he probably like, goddamn right. I'm not even sure he believes that's a bad thing. This is crazy, man. Like, I really wish I didn't have to do this, but these are the people who've been propped up as heroes, and they have a geopolitics that are here to be useful idiots for the Zionist regime. And am I tripping? Am I the only one who see this? Am I the only one who see how they're using the issue of Palestine? Which this doctor, this smart guy, he does a great job talking about that. I've seen a few clips. He'll talk about Palestine. He sounds great. But you guys see how they're using that very popular issue of Palestine in order to normalize neocons and Nazism in left spaces. Abdul El-Sayed, officially NATO leftist. So his mindset is, why should we have peace? Why shouldn't we engage in destabilizing war with Russia? Don't you know that consistent with international law? Like he said that's completely consistent with international law. And he was asked about Ukraine aid. So he said that he's okay with funding Nazis and giving weapons to Nazis, which has led to a boom of black market guns, by the way. But he wants you not to have guns, because you guys know this landlord from Dubai, him being a capitalist that he is, he wants the working class to be disarmed. He's extremely anti-gun. So that's how you know he's not a Marxist. He's like that liberal. He want to take your guns. He don't like weapons at all, except if you're a Nazi. They hate guns unless you're a Nazi in Ukraine. Then they be like, well, we have the right to arm them. Don't you know that consistent with international law? It's according to international law, Nazis have the right to be armed. Dude, I'm pretty sure I saw that. I might fact check myself because I don't like lying. I don't want to lie to you guys. I saw something that mentioned that he was anti-gun. He supports a ban on assault weapons, except if they're for Nazis. I will be careful on this because I haven't deeply researched his position. But he's a standard. Just looking at, I'm sorry, guys, just looking at a little quick AI Google search. He's kind of like a standard Democrat on guns. Yeah, he is anti-gun. Yeah, I heard that. You guys know I try to be careful. I never try to lie to you guys. You know what I mean? No, and fam, I get it, bro. I'm telling you guys, you don't have to apologize. Like whenever I wrote, I get it, bro. Haley Stevens is horrible, guys. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I don't give a fuck. I'm not invested enough to tell you who you guys should vote for. I'm just telling you guys who these people are, and I'm letting you guys know if you do vote for this guy, he's gonna sell you out. Like if you want to stop Haley Stevens and you're ready to fight this guy, okay, man. I'm gonna let you know who he is because Haley Stevens is probably one of the worst candidates I've ever seen. I get it, bro. But you understand, you get yourself in bed with the NATO leftists, which I understand the sacrifice. I wish there was third-party options in Michigan for you to vote for. That's been my message to these people. Me personally, because I think my values matter, I'm not supporting a Nazi. I'm not supporting a NATO supporter. I would never vote for a NATO supporter. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen. To me, I have a true anti-fascist principle stand. If you vote for aid to Nazis in Ukraine, you are dead to me. You are not an environmentalist. The environmental disaster because of this war, because of the Nord Stream pipeline bombing, you guys understand the massive worldwide pain that you guys are creating by supporting the proxy war, the environmental damage, the pain to the global working class that have to deal with oil and fuel shortages like in Europe, the people who have food shortages in Africa and the global south. Supporting the Ukraine war has been so destabilizing. And I have said this plenty of times. I have a tweet when I said this in response to this guy's NATO leftist policies. I'm like, bro, you guys do not have to be pro-Russia like I am, because I'm not one of the people who, I don't give a fuck. Russia had our back during the civil rights era. They stood with liberation movements. They armed Palestinian resistance movement in the Soviet era. I am not ashamed to say now I love my Russian brothers and sisters. But you guys realize, in order to appease me, you don't even have to be pro-Russia. You can literally be kind of skeptical of Putin and Russia, but you can be like, hey man, even though I'm not pro-Russia, I don't believe we should be saber-rattling with the nuclear superpower. I believe the working classes in both Russia, Europe, and the United States, I think we would be better off if we have a friendly, cordial relationship with Russia. Also, this is extremely destabilizing to the environment and also extremely harming to the Ukrainian people. That's why I favor peace and negotiations. That is all these NATO leftist scum have to say, fam. You guys don't even have to go full tanky like I am. Don't be a World War III nuclear war advocating crazy asshole. To me, getting this issue wrong is so crazy. Messing around with a nuclear superpower, your progressive reforms, your welfare programs do not mean shit if we are in an energy crisis, if there's nuclear winter. Your progressive economics means nothing in the face of the economic blowback to the wars you're supporting. But they weaponize stupidity and they don't want people to ever reach these conclusions. They just want you to think that, oh, well, don't you know we have right to international law to support Ukraine? Which is why I will always be skeptical of the DSA, because as I mentioned before, and everyone tried to ignore this, that every single member of the DSA, every single elected politician, in order to get their endorsement, in order to get the endorsement from their dark money groups, in order to get endorsement from the Working Families Party, Alex Soros, and all these, Jewish billionaires, Jewish millionaires who prop up these progressive candidates, in order to get their support, and they have said this publicly. I'm the only person who reported on this. They have said they will not endorse any candidate. They don't care about your positions on anything if you do not support Ukraine aid. And this is what people are trying to sell to me as our closest allies. This is what the DSA really put out there. This is the core of the DSA. This is what the majority report support. This is the entirety of the NATO left. Look, how DSAers can help Ukraine. This is the DSA, fam. Russia's imperialist war on Ukraine. So you guys see how the DSA's definition of imperialism is just like a liberal's definition of imperialism. According to them, imperialism is when bad country does bad thing. If you ask them to define imperialism, it won't be based on the Lenin model of economic production. It won't be based on any of that. To them, imperialism is when bad country does bad thing. So that's why they say, come on, Nick, you supporting Chinese imperialism. You supporting Russian imperialism. They don't understand about the petrodollar and the U.S. hegemonic global dominance that has completely set financial markets. They control financial regulations. They are the hegemon, the global hegemon, and they are control of the empire. And every other country had to work around the United States empire. There is no Russian empire. Imperialism is not a country looking out for their own self-interest. Imperialism is not a country goes to war. Based on your guys' childish definition, you can be some fucking Zionist Jew like, yeah, don't you know Palestine is imperialist? Don't you know Palestine wants to wage war against Israel? That's how you guys use the definition. Is whenever a country goes to war. You guys see how unserious DSA is and how they weaponize stupidity? Russia's imperialist war on Ukraine presents a challenge to the entire left, including DSA, with an attack on an independent nation. There it is again. Just like Abdul Al-Thayed, the landlord from Dubai. You guys, he says it's a sovereign country. And DSA is calling Ukraine with a straight face an independent nation. Bro, are you serious? People want me to be friends with these people? Yeah, the famous independent nation of Ukraine. Surely there's no Victoria Nuland messing around in the background. Surely there's not John McCain and Lindsey Graham, rest in peace, both of them, who used to visit Ukraine in order to select their leaders. It's like not like any of that happened. And not like Boris Johnson and NATO pressured the Ukrainian regime to kill all peace deals with Russia, essentially killing their sovereignty. Surely none of that happened. Yeah. You guys see, this is what I'm talking about. The professional managerial class left weaponizes stupidity. They want you to believe that they don't know any of these things. And they will avoid people like me who will bring it up. So it's not them, just slightly getting this issue wrong. Not them. This is them doing their part in order to serve and play their role for the empire. What's her name? The CIA asset who created DSA? Gloria. I'm blanking on her last name. What the fuck is her name? Gloria. Hey, Chad, help me out. Who's the person who found DSA? Oh, Gloria Steinem. Steinem? How you say her name? This her? Yeah, this person is the CIA. Yeah, Gloria Steinem. Like DSA commends our CIA asset founder, who is an honorary chair. Democratic Socialists of America congratulates honorary chair Gloria Steinem. How you say that last name? She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So Barack Obama thanked her for creating a fake suitable left. And DSA still commends her to this day. Steinem. Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry. Gloria Steinem. Who created she played a big role in trying to kill any sort of class consciousness within the feminist movement as well. Like she was a fed, a plant designed to create a suitable left. And DSA still looks up to her because they are following the same they're following the same playbook to this day. Things are different, so they have to adjust. So now what they're doing is they're taking the issue of Palestine and using that to recruit people into supporting imperialism. And because I'm not an access journalist, because I don't care about being part of a social club, like many people, they want to be part of this club so they can get enriched with the Democratic Party, they're afraid to call this out. Yeah. Yeah, she really is the original Emma Vigeland, who we got coming up, because Emma Vigeland still supports Ukraine despite knowing all of their connections to the state of Israel. But finishing this up, they essentially said, they mentioned how DSA had to stand in solidarity with Ukraine, giving them resources. He did it. The end of this statement, they said we got to get our resources and aid to Ukraine, not mutual aid for the American people. Dude, this is so crazy, man. Look at this again. Bro, not mutual aid funds, not funds to build an independent outside party. Literally funds to give resources to Nazis in Ukraine. That's what it said at the end here. That's insane, man. This is insane. And this is what is considered the left in this country. This is the current generation of Gloria Steinem. Majority report the media arm of the DSA. They don't hide it. Emma Vigeland has been to multiple DSA events. She's a dues-paying DSA member. She was at the DSA convention, gave speeches. She hosted the Progressive Voice fundraising. Like, she's a big name in DSA politics, which is why we often call her out. I called her the queen of bad takes. She's the person who praised Andrew Cuomo after it was revealed that he murdered a shit ton. Let's see. I wonder if I can find that. After it was revealed that he murdered a shit ton at nursing home people with how he handled COVID. I want to see if I can find it. I think I need it for this segment. Because I definitely tweeted it out. Bro, she has takes that are so bad. I literally, I have to do like second takes. I'm like, bro, there's no way anyone believe that she's a serious person. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So this is Emma Vigeland before I get to this clip. She's like a big DSA person. Look, this is what she said in March leading into April of 2020. There's no denying it. Andrew Cuomo has done a very good job, especially rhetorically, in this crisis. Fam, yeah, I could easily do a compilation. She is the queen of bad takes. There's a reason why she is given spots on MSNBC. She's on MSNBC all the time. She is prompted by Hassan Piker. She was given an interview with AOC. She gave an interview to AOC where she didn't mention Palestine at all. She didn't mention AOC lying to Palestinians. But she is beloved. People, you guys can say this all you want, but she gets more listeners than I do. You guys can say all this. She can say this all you want, but she has a ton of people in the DSA who listens to her. And she's the queen of bad takes. So we got one. Here's an Emma fan. Crazy. This is an extremely rare instance of an RBN viewer like an Emma Vigeland. That's wild. Man, I'm really reaching an ideological spectrum here. Good for them. Hopefully I can reach this person. I'm not hating on you. Hopefully I can reach you. Because Emma is a homosexual. You have to know that. Yeah, Emma Vigeland loves men accused of sexual assault too. Yeah, she was a big it was sarcasm. I'm about to say, bro, there's no way that there's actually an RBN viewer who likes Emma. I was actually excited, bro. I'm mad. I was excited because, like, man, hopefully I can convince someone who likes Emma, but man, there's like almost no audience overlap between us. Yeah, there's like no overlap between our audiences. There's no way that's gonna happen. All right, but let me get to the clip with her and Israel. I had to finish reading this tweet because this is one of the tweets that to me should end a political career. To me, this is one of the tweets that's so bad you should question everything that she says afterwards. Andrew Cuomo has done a very good job. Remember, there was no point during the COVID pandemic where Andrew Cuomo did a good job. Not one. Andrew Cuomo has done a very good job, especially rhetorically in this crisis. The way he's communicating is informative and political savvy. It just plays. He demolished Trump as a nominee at DNC leadership, is willing to do the gutsy thing, bro. She wanted the DNC to run Andrew Cuomo as the candidate, bro. You cannot make this up. You cannot. You literally can't. All right, so let's get to this one. Because I'm going to give you guys context on like the level of bad takes that she has. Because Glenn and a few other people was roasting Emma because Emma had this embarrassing interview with AOC where she never asked her about Palestine. But she always reminds people that she also a diehard NATO leftist. So Cenk Uygur, who does not have a lot of integrity, Cenk Uygur admitted that he was conned. Well, not conned, that he was wrong about the Ukraine war because of their ties with Israel. Not Emma. Emma gonna power through this shit. You think Emma is gonna allow Nazi? She was okay with Nazism in Ukraine. You think she gives a fuck if they're in beds with the genocidal monsters that she pretends to oppose? So let's listen to this because this is pure word salad stupidity. Once again, this is her weaponizing her stupidity to her audience to do the role of the ruling class.
Feel about Zelensky aligning with Netanyahu. Ukraine is aligning with anybody in the West that they can possibly align with for the continued flow of weapons. And Zelensky doing that is not surprising to me. Does not mean that it's not immensely hypocritical, but as is the United States' support for Ukraine when you compare it to our support for Israel. Like, we have lost credibility in our support for Ukraine because of our support for Israel.
So Emma Biglin, like all these PMC rats, you got to see how they present the United States as being a force for good on the world stage. She's like, man, I can't believe we're helping funding a genocide. Don't you know we're supposed to be here to defend democracy? If we didn't support genocide in Israel, it would be easier for me to sell this war where we support the Nazis. like what? What are you saying? Do you understand how brain dead and how drugged up her audience must be? Her audience must be like filled of people just OD'd on antidepressants, like barely not thinking. They like a zombie, just listen to anything she say, no questioning. Oh yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that Zionists are making alliance with Nazis. Doesn't concern me. Yeah, why should it concern me? Yeah, no big deal. It doesn't reveal any contradictions in my ideology at all. There's no way. just mindless suburbanite wine moms who think they're progressive because they listen to majority report, just inhaling this slop. So Cenk Uygur, the only time I'm gonna say this, to his credit, was like, yeah, me supporting Ukraine while they're actively working with Israel, that's too much. I can't. That's gonna be hard for me to sell to my audience, man. I gotta shift again. Emma has less shame than Cenk Uygur, bro. What does that say? Let's continue.
For Israel, like, we have lost credibility in our support for Ukraine because of our support for Israel.
Yeah.
So there's hypocrisies all across the board, but
Zelensky starting another front with Israel.
right. I mean, that's the same reason that the UAE is doing a defense pact with Ukraine. It's about aligning yourself with Western interests. And this is what bothers me sometimes about geopolitical analysis. When you're making like just factual claims about power and people get all up in their feels. No, this is the bad guy. This is the good guy. No, we're talking about you like.
Come on, man. You guys are getting upset with me supporting Nazis. Get out of your feels. Get out of your fifis. Come on, man. I want to support a little bit of Nazis. What are you saying? What are you saying? Come on, man. Well, people always get a little bit too emotional. Let me support a Nazi every once in a while. That's an insane thing to say. That's an insane thing to say. Just feeding her audience slop.
Claims about power and people get all up in their feels. No, this is the bad guy. This is the good guy. No, we're talking about.
Yes, Nazism is bad, Emma. Zionism is bad, Emma. Why do you need someone to explain it for you? You stand against fascism on principle. To be honest, it doesn't even matter if Ukraine had a relationship with Israel or not. They do, because fascists tend to unite. But you should oppose Ukraine on principle because how they deal with the working class in the party, the systemic crackdowns on the right to organize. Just the Nazism on principle. You gotta see, like, it will be one thing if you support one Nazi. This is about as nice as I'm gonna get. If you support one Nazi, okay, bro. You got caught slipping. So she supported Graham Plattner. And she was like, oh, come on, man. Everyone who's canceling him over Nazi tattoos, that's the reason why the left have a hard time reaching men. In order for the left to reach men, we don't have to apply to the material conditions or anything like that. We got to give them space to have Nazi tattoos. That's the position of Emma Vigeland. We got to give men spaces to be Nazis in order to recruit them. So it's one thing to support one Nazi, but then she supported Nazis in Ukraine as well. So to me, I don't think it's unreasonable I'm like, man, supporting one Nazi, supporting two Nazis in a Nazi country, I start to believe you're a Nazi. Nick, come on, man, that's deflammatory. Okay, if you believe it's deflammatory for me to call these DSA people Nazis, how many, this is the question I've asked you. How many Nazis can someone support without being a Nazi? I'm asking you guys that. Is it one? Are you allowed to support one Nazi without being a Nazi? Let's say you support one Nazi militia. Is that too much for being a Nazi? Me, personally, and I might be a hard ass, I'm looking at the chat, I'm trying to see what you guys think. I think supporting one Nazi militia is too much. I don't know, just me. I think supporting Nazis, someone with a Nazi tattoo, that's pretty bad. Not a good look. Not a good look. Yeah, she's Nazi maxing. This person leaving a lot of good comments today. Yeah, man. Big shout out to Blue Czar. I appreciate you supporting my labor. Big shout out to them for the super sticker here. Yeah, this is my boy Snow Himbo. We gotta have him on the show soon. The fact that it's so hard for these the fact that it's so goddamn hard for these goy tubers to not just support actual fascism is insane. That's an all-time comment right here, my man. I'm gonna start calling him that. Emma is the definition of a goy tuber. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's fucking funny as hell. How hard is it for you, goy tuber, Emma, to just not support a single Nazi? Just don't do it, man. And not us being in our fields. I guess I am. I take that. I'm a little bit in my fifis. She's like, stop. Get out of your fifis. We got to support Nazi geopolitically. This is how we got to move. Dude, this clip is actually crazier than I remember it being. I seen this clip a while ago. This clip needed to be analyzed in the lab. Because on how a DSA person thinks. She is extremely influential in the DSA. This queen of bad takes. Bro, I seen a clip where she was at this DSA event and she had this long line of DSA people waiting to get her autograph or something. Like, I was a rock star at the Green Party conference. The way I was a rock star at the Green Party conference is how Emma Vigeland was a rock star at the DSA events. Oh, I can't believe I get to meet Emma Vigeland, my favorite Nazi queen. Bro, they were freaking out. I seen that clip a long time ago, so it'd be hard for me to find it. So just take my word for it. This clip with these DSA people celebrity worshiping this goy tuber. And this is what she offers them. Let's play this. Let's wrap this up. We almost at 90 minutes. I might read some chats and get out of here. here soon. But let's finish the segment. Actually, I got a few more things to show. God damn it. Hang tight, my friend. I still got a few more things I gotta show before. God damn it. Is this gonna be another 2-hour stream? I guess it is. We're back. Oh yeah, by the way, we're starting another streak. The streak is about to return. I did a streak when I first started the channel, but we hit 10K, fam. We did it despite the massive YouTube suppression, despite the algorithm shutting us down. We finally hit 10K. I'm super excited about that. So in celebration, we have another streak, bro. I did like a 12-week streak when the channel first started. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're gonna see how long we're gonna get this streak going. Because I was gone for a week. I'm gonna keep this Monday, Wednesday, Friday streak going as long as possible. Let's see if we get another 12 weeks. Yeah. So we're big back on the channel. So let's deal with this. Let's finish this clip of this goy tuber feeding slop to our audience about why the left need to continue to support a state who's not only infested with Nazism but has strategic alliances with Israel.
Right. I mean, that's the same reason that the UAE is doing a defense pact with Ukraine. It's about aligning yourself with Western interests. And this is what bothers me sometimes about geopolitical analysis. When you're making like just factual claims about power and people get all up in their feels. No, this is the bad guy. This is the good guy. No, we're talking about we're talking about capitalism. We're talking about war. We're talking about alliances. And there are no actors that are inherently like righteous, except really, you know, all of these struggles of power, of conquest, of colonialism, what have you, the aggressor and the victim, they act in concert with one another, and you can't disaggregate the victim from the aggressor, and they act in relation to one another, and we should be fighting for liberation for all people for that reason, without making fairy tale Marvel moral judgments about the actors in this case and states in their character. It is like Disney level understanding of how power and violence and money works in this world.
Do you guys see how much of a struggle that was for her? Bro, she had a hard time getting through that, bro. You guys see just the knots that she was trying to untwist. Yeah, I can spread my ideology. I'm super smooth, you know what I mean? I think I killed at the pedal, you know what I mean? You guys see how much that was a struggle session. If I have ever heard one. That last minute uninterrupted. Yeah, she did her best. She did her best. But that was a struggle session, because imagine trying to explain the ideological inconsistencies that you have when you say you're anti-fascist, to oppose Nazism, you oppose Donald Trump. But then when it comes for you to oppose Nazism in principle, even though it may harm your status in the Democratic Party, because that is what this is really about. Don't think she actually has an ideological explanation for this. She gets paid to go on CNN. I think it's MSNBC. She's usually on the MSNBC shows. I see her all the time. I don't show it to you guys, but she's on MSNBC. Sam Cedars on MSNBC. So in order to secure the MSNBC contract, you have to support Nazis in Ukraine, or you are cut off from the Democratic Party machine. Do you understand? So they will work backward for their conclusion in order to prevent the money train from ending. Once again, this is a crazy example of Emma Vigeland having less integrity than Cenk Uygur. Also, the way that y'all see how this is the common thing with the PMC class, where they have this smug, like they pretend that we're children. You guys, do you catch that hint of smugnerant contempt for the working class? Which like, you guys pretend this is like a Disney movie. You guys think it's a Disney movie where we can oppose Nazism. This is not a Disney movie. In real life, you have to support some Nazis in order to get ahead in life. Don't you know, Nick? Don't you know, RBN? Do you guys catch that, or am I being too pissy here? The smugnerant, dismissive concerns of her own audience, bro, because you know why they're addressing this? I get clips of them defending Ukraine, because their liberal audience be like, hey, man, I seen the clip from RB. They won't say that, but They've seen our reporting. They've seen the reporting in the gray zone. They've seen reporting from other media that's like, hey, man, Ukraine is fascist. What the fuck? So you know this whole clip started because someone in their chat was like, hey, Emma, don't you know that Ukraine is working with Israel? How do you explain that? So you got to see how the contempt that she has. Where she's, oh, you guys, you think this is Disneyland? Or you think we can just oppose Nazism?
And they act in relation to one another. And we should be fighting for liberation for all people for that reason, without making fairy tale Marvel moral judgments about the
fairy tale Marvel judgments. You guys see how she's dismissing the concerns about fascism in Ukraine? These are the professional managerial manipulation techniques that do not work on me. I guess it works on some people because apparently she has a platform and a lot of DSA PMC worshipers. But this smug attitude to get me to back off of my position where I know I'm right, I don't know who that works for. Does it work on you? In the comment section, let me know. It doesn't work on me. It makes me think that you're hiding something that you can't intellectually defend. And you being twisted in knots in this segment says it all. So let's quickly, I got a few more things to show you guys. This is what the NATO left will never report on. I did a few segments on this. The Zelensky regime kidnapping people off the streets, bro, and forcing them to die on the front line. Ukrainians are furious. Ukrainians are speaking out against the Zelensky regime. I'll cover this on our channel because these clips I am seeing out of Ukraine, I see them every day. I show you guys a fraction of the crazy shit that I see come out of Ukraine with these armed fascist thugs from the Zelensky regime just kidnapping people. You guys see his kids and family screaming. Whenever these things happen, you always see the family acting extremely emotionally and erratically because all these men that they kidnap on the street to sit on the front lines, they come back in body bags. The death rate for these Ukrainian human shields for NATO is sky high. It's like in Ukraine, it's a saying, like if you get taken by these Zelensky thugs, you're not seeing them again. It's essentially a death sentence. And they're in NATO, including Abdul al-Said and the entire NATO left, they are 100% okay with this. Emma Vigeland is okay with this. They are okay with blood sacrificing. I like this comment. The NATO left, they don't cover this. I bet you everything I have that the majority report haven't done a single segment covering the kidnappings of Ukrainian men by the fascist Ukrainian government. I bet you they never covered it because they passively support it. They passively support the Mark Rutte versus Ursula von der Leyen strategy of depopulating Ukraine, fighting Russia to the last Ukrainian, and then they're going to transition into a full NATO war against Russia. They're already preparing that with German militarization, UK cutting pensions, social programs in order to militarize. All this is happening. The ground is being set for World War III because eventually they're going to run out of Ukrainians. And as all this is happening, Emma Vigeland and the NATO left, the DSA, they have zero criticism of the West marching towards World War III and sacrificing Ukrainians in the meantime. And people keep telling me and trying to gaslight me into thinking that this is one small issue, that this is just one disagreement. It is not. I will continue to hammer these sellout Nazi NATO left scum because this is an unreconcilable difference between social democrats. I'm a tanky, but I would say any anti-imperialist, any peace lover, Their politics is unreconcilable, and there's no moving forward until we solve the issue of this Nazi problem and fascist problem in the left. You want to know what's worse? They do see it. Bro, I know they see it. I see this stuff. Well, I have a very anti-imperialist, very anti-Ukraine timeline, to be clear. But there's no way these people who study politics for a living like I do haven't seen this. So it's even worse. They know that this is going on. They just choose not to tell their audience about this because they support this war. What does that say about the values of Emma Vigeland, of Ro Khanna, and Cenk Uygur before? Here's another one. We can do a whole live stream of me just showing you guys videos I found of this. We post a lot of these videos on Hotspot. These videos, let me read the description here. This is insanity. Look, draft age men the safari for draft age men in Ukraine continues unabated. In Lunks, draft officers chase down a man and drag him out of an apartment building. This video is insanity. Look at it. This is nuts. How can anyone who claims they're pro-peace, anti-imperialist support this? Emma Vigeland and Ro Khanna and them well, we support the spirit of resistance. That is what Abdul al-Said was saying. You know their favorite Goy in Michigan? The new progressive Goy slave? We support the spirit of resistance. That's what Ro Khanna and all the NATO leftists say. Well, just like, even though I condemn Hamas, to be clear, I do condemn Hamas, but I support the spirit of resistance for Nazis. What do you mean the spirit of resistance? The people who are fighting and dying on the front lines clearly don't want to be there. What do you mean you support the spirit of Ukrainian resistance? Yep, it's Saeed Abdul. Once again, I know Haley Stevens is awful, but I hope you guys are ready to elect Saeed, and he's going to vote for all the Ukraine aid packages. He's going to help continue this atrocity that is happening upon the Ukrainian people. And the NATO left, the DSA left, is more than happy to allow this to continue if they are allowed to win a few elections. If they are giving a few slap on the wrist reforms, they're okay with this. And my friend Snow Hill will say, you never guess who's moving into Ukraine in droves, by the way. I'm over 90 minutes in. I've been talking about Ukraine essentially exclusively today. We got a new streak, so I'm going to be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I even got a Sunday show with Jamal that's going to restart next week. So I'm going to be here. We got a lot to cover. I've been covering Ukraine for almost 2 hours alone. The amount of receipts, the amount of details that is available in Ukraine that I covered, but they pretend not to know this. So how can anyone blame me for questioning their intentions, man? So I could show you much more of them. This is almost a 2-hour stream. I could easily do a 3-hour stream. I can talk about this stuff all the time. I cover this professionally. They do too. They have the same resources. They have the same capacity as I do. I believe they're as smart as I am. They just play dumb. I'm not smarter than these people. I do think I got a lot of critical thinking skills. I do. I think my critical thinking is pretty good. But these people are not dumber than me. They make a conscious effort to dumb down and weaponize stupidity on the left. And they're using the pro-Palestine issue in order to get people to support Nazism in Ukraine. And I will not ever sign up for that. Just a few more receipts before we wrap up here. And I read a few super chats. Zoya, let me know if you're here. I know Zoya had a few family things she had to attend to tonight. But look, just one of many receipts I can show you guys. The amount of receipts that are still available. Do you have any idea how much they deleted? Do you know how much they deleted about Nazism in Ukraine and Western media? They took down a lot of shit ever since the start of the Russian military operation. Despite all the censorship that they have done on this issue, there are still there's so many great citizen journalists. There are so many international, especially our Russian brothers and sisters, who've been sharing the truth about this, and their truth is so devastating. This is why RT is banned in the UK. This is why RT is banned in Europe. This is why RT is banned in Canada. This is why they ban the Russian perspective, because they dismantled the narrative coming out of NATO and the neocons in the West with surgical precision. It's the same reason why they never show translated speech of Putin. They would never show the American people and Westerners what Sergei Lavrov says, what Dmitry Medvedev says. These people are geopolitical masterminds and propaganda experts, to be clear, and they dismantle Western narratives all the time. That's why I get a lot of I literally listen to these people, and they dismantle Western narratives all the time. And it's just another example. I'm not too familiar with this account, but there's all these Russian sympathetic citizen journalists who are exposing the truth, and this is one of the things that they deleted. This is one of the this was the part of the great amnesia of the progressive movement, because I remember Zoya, people who've been following geopolitics for a long time. I remember when the left used to be critical of NATO action in Ukraine before the great amnesia of 2022. Noam Chomsky used to write about NATO propping up Nazis in Ukraine. I'm talking about people to my right. Their hero, not my hero. I'm more of a Michael Prenti guy. But even their hero, Noam Chomsky, used to write stuff about how NATO is provoking war with Russia. Then 2022 happened, and the Democrats gave an order to progressives to delete every previous activism they had opposing war with Russia, and every single one of them fell in line, because this is the kind of stuff that used to happen. Look, back in 2014, Ukrainian soldiers were shooting at civilians' homes in eastern Ukraine. Their mission was to spread terror and crush dissent against the CIA-backed coup in Kiev. Meanwhile, they still pretend that this conflict was unprovoked. And I actually got to be very careful with this video, because I got in trouble with firearms policies before. But essentially, this video is a bunch of Ukrainians. Actually, fuck it, I play it. Shooting indiscriminately. I'll stop it here so I don't get in too much trouble. But this is the fascist Ukrainian regime aiming systemically in residential areas in Ukraine. That's why there was UN reports, and that's why peace activists used to speak up on this, because they used to explain how the Ukrainian regime, sponsored by NATO, is engaging in indiscriminate slaughter in the Donbass. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I got so many damn receipts, it's hard to find them sometimes. Where is it? Come on, man. The Twitter search is so bad now. Fuck. Let's see if I really want to find it damn. So I showed it to you guys before. Ukraine, UN. Either way, what I'm trying to find, which I'm having a hard time finding right now, there was a UN report that was highlighting the indiscriminate slaughter of Ukrainians and ethnic Russians who opposed the CIA-backed coup. But now the left completely forgot about all of this. They're not. They didn't forget about it. They strategically forgetting about it, so they can justify supporting Nazis in Ukraine. So then, dumbasses like Emma, will say, "Well, don't you know that Ukraine was invaded by Russia?" Just like Cenk Uygur, they'd be like, "Well, it was just like Lebanon. It's just like Israel and Lebanon, guys. It's just like Israel and Gaza." I find it very distasteful. that they keep comparing Palestinians to Nazis. So in a way, that's them legitimizing the Zionist talking point, right? They legitimize the Zionist talking point that Palestinians are terrorists because they say, don't you know the Palestinians? Just like the way the Ukrainians provoke Russians, they believe that Israel has the right to go after these Palestinians. That's what Bernie Sanders said, that Israel has the right to defend themselves. So they're conflating Palestinians, a stateless people, fighting against a Western-backed proxy, to a fascist state, which is aligned with NATO, who is slaughtering ethnic Russians. It's a moral atrocity, to say the least. But anyway, I gotta shut up because if I don't shut up, I won't stop. Zoya, my friend, Zoya's love, Zoya's life. Are you there, my friend? We're back. We are big back. We got a new streak started. I hope you're ready, my friend. How you doing, Zoya? Zoya's love, Zoya's life is here.
Happy to be here. We are so back on schedule.
Yep.
Monday, first day of the week. Hopefully, we're gonna help the working class get through it.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick? You had all of this traveling and everything. You're just back now.
Yeah, I did a few traveling. I visited a family in St. Joe. That's a few hours away from me. So yeah, it was a busy last week, but we're big back. There's so much going on. Like we covered a lot of NATO left today, but we're gonna cover more about Iran humiliating Donald Trump. Saudi Arabia is having their shipping completely disrupted by Yemen. We may get into that on Wednesday. We got a lot to cover, but we'll be back. We have a new streak, so let's get into some comments, Zoya. And make sure you turn your audio up if that's possible. I'm hearing that you're kind of low, so if you can, try to turn your audio up. But it's
How
on
about
you.
now, guys? How's the volume? Let me know in the chat. I'm gonna start reading. If it's still low, let me know. I'll just get closer to the mic. It's turned up all the way. All right, so our first super chat was from Comrade Cranky. What a great handle. Thank you for the $5. Justice for the beautiful little children of Gaza and Palestine. Free Palestine. What a great way to start us off. It's still low? I wonder what's going on with my mic. I'll have to try to fix it by next time, guys. It's up at maximum volume and I'm just really getting close to the screen. And I'll try to speak up. T.Y. Cruz, what up, Nick? Rupert Fellows, the Green Party in Europe is pro-NATO.
The UK Green Party with their recent resurgence, they have I know the Green Party of Wales, which was independent, which is not the same as the Green Party UK. They kind of went rogue and they put out some cringe pro-NATO statements. But from what I heard, the UK Green Party has completely condemned NATO and said that their position on their platform said that the UK should leave NATO. So they have like the Howie Hawkins NATO leftists who are trying to infiltrate the Green Party, just like we have in this country. But their official platform, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something that I learned recently. They flipped their position, realized it was wrong, and now they are a strongly anti-NATO party, and that led to them having such great results in the last election. You got to see how the Green Party in the UK surged, and one of the reasons why they surged is because they became much more populist, including dropping their support of NATO. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but I'm pretty sure they did drop that position. Just in the UK, there's some Green parties in Germany that are fucking garbage, which is why I don't support international solidarity with them. But I was at the Green Party conference and at the Green Party convention. Once again, guys, you have no idea how much we radicalized many people in the Green Party. That party is ours now, fam. You guys realize that. I'm talking to people on the highest level of the Green Party. They all despise NATO. So whether there are Green parties in Europe or not that support NATO, that should be condemned. But the Green Party of the United States now is 100% anti-NATO. And we made that as a point in our panel to mention that. We had a whole anti-imperialist panel that would talk about the crimes of NATO. So that's part of our influence on the Green Party. Is like, hey guys, we got to be principally against NATO. We got to be principally against imperialism. No repeating empire talking points. I think we had a lot of positive effects on the American Green Party There still need to be some skepticism on European Green parties, though. Even though I heard good things about the UK Green Party, um, from what I saw. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Zoya.
Mr. Blamo, Nick Cooking, Michael Shilbot, Free Feel the Cruise. That would be a great hashtag. Amandius, thank you for the $2. They just want the anti-war vote to go blue.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, Trump managed to co-opt it pretty well. Trump literally ran on being
Yeah,
anti-war. It's hilarious.
just like Obama did,
Yep.
and in a way, Bernie Sanders did. Like Bernie supporting Ukraine, NATO. But that was before I was his supporter because Ukraine happened way after I stopped supporting Bernie. But if the NATO proxy war happened before 2020, I would never have supported Bernie. The NATO thing happened in 2022. That's when the progressives really showed their ass. But I promise there is no way I would. I thought, and I was wrong. I take that L. I thought that was I thought we was building an anti-war movement. Like the idea, even back then, the idea that we will ever support a war against Russia, the progressives do that. If you told Nick, who was on the Bernie campaign in 2019, that these people I'm organizing with will support NATO and Nazis in Ukraine, dude, my mind would have been blown. Like I know I'm not the only one. There's no way I would ever been for that shit. So in a way, I guess Bernie Sanders was too. Bernie Sanders was just like Trump, lying that he was anti-war when he's not. That's why I refuse to fall for these psyops again. I want to build my own shit. I've been conned by Obama and Bernie. I'm done. It's never gonna happen again. I want to build my own party so we can have a strict party line, intellectual consistency.
That's right. Casey McCoy, you think Majority Report will cover this? No.
Of course not.
Mr. Blamo, NATO again injured 7, killed 3 kids on a resort beach with a drone. Do people remember the cluster bomb NATO used in Ukraine on a beach and evaporated the parents and the children? I remember.
Yeah, they're engaging in Israeli tactics. Same Israeli Western tactics.
Yeah, Ukraine is a terrorist state at this point.
And what did it say about the NATO left and how deranged they are? That they won't even leave condolences towards the Russian children that was killed by Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like even if they are Nazis who support the fucking Ukraine war because they hate Putin, when it makes sense for them to be like, hey man, I think this killing of Russian children is sad. Fam, they're not even doing that. Not one tweet from Emma, Bernie, Hassan Piker. None of them will be like, hey, I think murdering Russian kids is bad. They won't even say it. Like, what does that say about their moral depravity?
It's unbelievable. Amanda Marie Brinkley, agriculture, carbon sequestration, planting food trees, edible bushes as well needs to be planned on every continent globally with negotiation. Plants can create billionaire level of nutrition for all. China's doing this. It's us. We're living in the past. BZ Queen Bee, reverse Putin derangement syndrome. Why ain't Putin doing more? Yeah. Americans just love to criticize while doing nothing. Either people are doing too much or not enough. It's never good enough. Don Hooligan, nobody punches Nazis anymore, not even throwing shakes these days. Oh, that's a sad comment. Sure. 4891. When did you get to 10K subs? Congrats. Yes, everyone. We finally hit 10,000 subscribers. We didn't know if it would be possible. And thank you to all of you for watching, liking, and sharing. Mitz Bits. We have to weaken Russia, our enemy. LOL. Rupert Fellows, the Kiev regime killed Russian-speaking Ukrainians for 8 years before Putin made a move. People forget that. Casey McCoy, remember Cenk screamed, "Down goes Gaddafi"? Yeah, he's a terrible empire supporting person. He's always late to the news and is happy to jump on the bandwagon once a certain take becomes popular or unavoidable. Don Hooligan, BRICS has to end the economy of war and destruction to save the planet. Mr. Blamo, you fucking started it. The boomerang always comes back. Scum people in the West. Casey McCoy, no, TYT 100% supported Ukraine and forcefully do. Chief Beef, Cenk is still dumb as fuck. Leroy Bearsford, hey Leroy, Cenk is being intellectually dishonest. Kind of his job. It's kind of his whole thing. Pulling the strings. Most Americans are stuck in the Cold War mindset. Yep. Mitspitz, Bill Clinton launched cruise missiles into the Persian Gulf area. Do you guys remember when he had to testify? I see you guys are saying mic is low in the chat. I'm going to try to get louder. Do you guys remember when Bill Clinton literally launched an operation as he was supposed to go and testify regarding the Monica Lewinsky debacle? It was incredible. I was young, and I remember thinking, wow, he can't be this corrupt. Little did I know. Mr. Blamo, yes, as Graham said in 2014, to the last Ukrainian, and we love it.
Dude, they say it so many times. You know how many times they fucking say it? Like the Democrats tend not to say it, like because they sell it as a humanitarian conflict. We stand for democracy. That's why I like seeing how Republicans sell these wars, because Republicans will straight out say it. Like a John Thune, Lindsey Graham, they were like, yeah, we're gonna fight the Russians to the last Ukrainian until they're dead. They're all dead. And then they will expand on that. They were like, guys, don't you know how great this war is for us? We get to weaken a geopolitical enemy while not losing our own troops. Don't you know the Ukrainians are dying for this? Yeah, it's such a brilliant plan. Fam, they will say this shit on Fox News. And I'm like, did y'all not hear this? NATO left? And they just pretend, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear that. Remember when I had Ro Khanna on and I played that clip where Lindsey Graham was like, yeah, this war is all about rare earth minerals. we don't give a fuck about any of that. And they live in this fairy tale land. Like, no, we stand with Ukrainians because we stand for democracy. Fighting the authoritarian Putin. I don't know if you guys see it, but I view these progressive DSA leftists as just as nefarious, and they are propaganda for the empire the same way that liberals are. You know what I mean? It's crazy what they have been getting away with for the last few years.
Well said as always, Nick. And next super chat, Amadeus, thank you for the $5. Arming Ukrainian Nazis was the last straw for me. As a Canadian, I will never be a patriot again, ever. Not until and unless I move to Asia.
Base super chat.
That seems to be the plan for a lot of people. Americans are fleeing America in record numbers right now. Mocracy, thank you for the $1.99. The NATO left is always like 5 years behind. That's right. So if you want to know 5 years early, follow Nick. Pulling the strings. The same with Taiwan and China. Taiwan is to put China into check. Exactly. Stefan, the Palestinian flag, Ukrainian flag crowd never intrinsically care about Palestinians. They just took that position because they didn't want the smoke. Their only purpose is to outwardly signal, I'm a good person. Idiots.
Very well said.
There's another name for them, liberals. Jonathan.
I'll be cracking up at these comments. I'll just be muted most of the time.
TYT audience is a bunch of libs, so he has to explain his position to them. How's that going? Come out, ye IDF. Love for RBN from ACP, united by Dubois. Always appreciate.
Yeah, they're supposed to be going. There's a Marxist conference they're hosting next month in Chicago. I think I'm gonna be there. It should be dope. Whether the Green Party, ACP, I thought some ACP people were like, man, why you support the Green Party, not the ACP? I'm like, bro, I'm trying to build an anti-Zionist movement. lot of people say that shit. A lot of people are like, man, we need an anti-Zionist movement. And then I'm like, where the coalition building at? I just see everyone just hiding in their own sects. I mean, I'm a PSL. I'm a Green Party guy. I'm a worker strike back guy. How about you guys? How about we coordinate something? No. This is my sect. I don't coordinate. Like, we should all be coming together in this time. You know what I mean? Like ACP, Green Party, worker strike back. We're the RBN coalition. We should be trying to come together, but it's weird in this time that people are retreating their sects. So I got love for I got love for ACP. I got love for Green. I got love for anyone who is not part of the duopoly and they represent an anti-capitalist, anti-Zionist formation. The teenage Gen Z online infighting with leftists is the dumbest shit, and it's the most black pilling shit. When I see these inner left gang wars, it's very demoralizing because it seems like people just care about treating politics like high school than actually organizing. So yeah, I'm down with ACP. Anyone who actually really trying to organize, ACP, Green Party, Shama, anyone.
Sorry, my computer is really slow and it's taking a minute glitching on the next comment. I need a new laptop, guys. I'm working on it. Here we go. Vince Gauthier, 2030, 2.5 million Ukrainians dead and 3.5 million injured, many profoundly disabled. It's so sad, and we will never know the real numbers until the fog of war has cleared, and it's always more. Vas Adams, the real Young Turks committed genocide against Armenians, Greeks, and Assyrians. Cenk Uygur is a clown, and so is Kasparian as an Armenian working for them. Anna Kasparian was kicked out of her own Armenian church and other places. She was shunned by her community for working with Cenk. Honest hombre, war is just sports to these dem shit-lipped commentators. They're only invested in politics financially. Stuart Redward, sovereign nation, having your government run by the U.S. State Department.
That's what all these DSA nerds say. Like they try to hijack our language without knowing what it means. I support Nazis in Ukraine because I support what is it? The sovereignty of countries. They just copying shit they heard from us, not knowing what words means. Yeah, Ukraine is an independent country. They borrow terms that they heard from the Palestine movement. Yeah, the Ukraine, they had the right to fight for their sovereignty against their invaders. They just say shit. They annoy the hell out of me.
Not just you. Feed me Seymour. Bravo. Leave it to Nick to speak the truth. That's right. We need Nick in these dark times. Jason Dick. If they run as a Democrat, they're not for you. Seems like not everyone's gotten that memo. Steven, thank you for the $1.99. Nick exposing the Palestine flag, Ukraine flag fakers makes my day.
It's very therapeutic as well.
Harry Balsag, damned if you do, damned if you don't, left fascism or right fascism.
Dude, this is one of my favorite YouTube accounts because they force Zoya to say their name all the time.
I'm getting used to it. Spiffity Keen, revolutionaries during elections, Reaganomics in office. Yeah, that's how most of these people like Mamdani run their campaigns. Pulling the strings. The problem is U.S. Cold War propaganda has become U.S. culture. Casey McCoy, I love that Nick plants his flag firmly in anti-imperialism and refuses to move an inch to the right, while helping the rest of us to catch up. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, big shout out to my friend Casey.
Eternal 26 Fondation. Never forget what they did to the Uhuru movement.
Also, never forget that Hassan Piker had to tweet about the Uhuru movement one time, by the way. And all the you know that none of the NATO leftists all the Biden voters, all the Kamala voters, they didn't cover the Who trial because it would have revealed the fascism of the Biden administration. Do you guys know how crazy it is that a Florida court, like they say the United States courts, and it's true, it's ran by a bunch of right-wing crazy assholes, right? Liberals like, we gotta vote Democrats in order to help pack the courts because Republican court systems are so corrupt. Fam, you guys realize the only reason that Chairman O'Malley isn't in prison for 25 years is because of Florida court? The Biden administration tried to lock this nigga up for 25 years. And then progressives are telling you to vote for Kamala and Biden. You know, because they didn't cover the story because it would have made them look bad to support an outwardly fascist administration. Now Ken Klippenstein and all these dipshits, they're like, don't you know that Donald Trump has a plan to crack down on socialism? Like, bitch, that started under the Biden administration when they tried to prosecute black socialists for being pro-Russia, and you guys didn't say a damn thing about it. I hate these people, guys. You guys have no idea. I hate these people so much, man.
And rightfully so. Bits. We Yankees are spoiled. Who cares about breadcrumbs at the expense of others?
At least you guys can feel good. You guys can feel good now because you guys know I would never join them. You guys can rest assured I will never join these people. I hate them so much. Like, literally just talking about this to get me mad. I get so mad. You guys never have to worry about me ever selling out to these people ever. It will never. It can't pay me enough. What will I even do that with that money? Just sit in some big house alone, hating myself because I sold out to these scumbags? That would never happen. Hell no.
This is why we all should love Nick. Stuart Redwords, even in the most democratic, even the freest republic, as long as capital remains dominant and land remains privately owned, the state is always governed by a small minority. Lenin. See, we got some theory going on tonight. Mr. Blamo, you cannot have democracy when you suppress a certain class or race. Putin. These are the people they're telling you to hate. Jonathan Ank, there have always been these type of Western imperialist socialists. Yeah, let's put an end to that. Feed me Seymour. Most Americans no longer read or write like with a pen. It's incredible how they've defunded education in America. Pulling the strings, Americans justify U.S. imperialism by making out the Chinese and Russians as imperialists too. Absolutely. But anyone that studies history knows this isn't accurate. Amadeus, thank you for the $2. Liberals get the bang bang too, DSA included. RBU, thank you for the $5. Nick Cruse, the fake left buster. Love your college dropout smartness. Yeah, he didn't have to unlearn as much as so-called college educated people.
Yeah, you damn right. I appreciate the super chats, my friend.
Spiffity Keen, these are people part of an organizational structure accustomed to rewriting reality. It's the reason why their policy is so divergent from the clear and observable truth. Ooh. The Sun. A legit anti-imperialist position on Ukraine should be simple, not politically pragmatic. Opposition to both its annexation by Moscow as well as its colonization at the hands of Washington, D.C., Brussels. No, that's the situation they already had set up, and the West will not leave other countries alone to weaponize them against countries that are competition to their hegemony. So, and also, Crimea is a Russian territory, historically Russian, was always Russian, was added to Ukraine only in the 1950s. And in the Ukrainian constitution, Crimea had a right to secede, and they voted and they did. And then they tried to start this and get Crimea back. So you have to know the complexities of this situation and the history. There is no magical solution. As long as the Western Empire exists, they will start war and problems everywhere, and other countries have to secure their territories, their borders, and their people.
Yeah, good luck ever trying to debate Zoya on this issue, guys. Born in the USR, she knows the issue. I learned a lot from Zoya on this issue. As an anti-imperialist, as a Marxist, I respect the sovereignty of peoples. And what did the people of the Donbass want? What did the people of the Crimea want? They wanted overwhelmingly to be part of Russia, so much so that the Crimea military invited Russia in and laid down their arms because they wanted to be a state of Russia. The same way the people in the Donbass region voted in a massive referendum, which the West still rejects to this day, that they wanted to be a state of Russia and they wanted to leave Ukraine. So it's not an anti-imperialist position for American. I don't know what country you're from, but let's assume you're American. It is actually very imperialist minded of you for you to take the will of the ethnic Russians and the Ukrainians in the Donbass who don't want to be part of Ukraine and impose your value set on them. You look at them, you say, don't you know you're supposed to be part of Ukraine? That's imperialist minded. I support their right to achieve their sovereignty the same way I support the right of Palestinians to achieve their sovereignty. I don't support the right of the Ukrainians to rob them of their sovereignty and crack down on their pursuit of a state the same way I don't support Israel and the West doing it for the Palestinians. Like that's the principal position. But I'm always welcome to push back. So I appreciate his comment and giving us a chance to take a crack at it.
And/or dude, they could have used the 300 plus billion they sent to Ukraine to give the US universal health care. And everyone as an American citizen should question why they never do this, why they always have money for war but never to feed the poor or give us any social programs like all normal developed countries have. Spiffity Keen, she's no different than the rest of these sociopaths who make their living in politics. She's disgusting.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming they're talking about Emma Vigeland. I literally see no difference between Emma Vigeland and a Rachel Maddow. There's no difference between a Sam Cedar and a Sean Hannity. I literally will go that far. But there's no difference between what they do. Just slightly different role for the establishment, but they do the same thing. They all morally bankrupt.
Yep. Mitspitz, I won't watch Majority Report. Only time I watch it is when we play clips here. Kylie Jones, Emma is definitely on a lot of prescription drugs. So are a lot of Americans. That's what late stage capitalism does to you. Vincent Gauthier, Sam Cedar could bore the dick off Ryan Grimm. That's tough. Under N6low, I can't listen to that Emma chick with her fake morals that she checked with the polls before adopting. Rich biatch. I haven't had a chance to say biatch in a long time.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Big shout out to that comment.
Rem, is she convinced that the US is supporting Ukraine for humanitarian reasons? LOL. No, she's just trying to protect her paycheck and her class loyalty. I'm going to give one more shout out to Blueser for the $100. Thank you so much for always jumping in and supporting the show. We appreciate you. Mr. Blamo, how much money and weapons have been wasted on Ukraine, do Americans think? You all believe just 500 billion? Well, you'd be surprised. Once we find out.
It's not like they can pass the audit or anything, so not like we will really know. We can only speculate.
Yep.
They're never gonna pass an audit ever again because there's Ukraine black money scheme. Like the amount of guns who went on the black market, the amount of these Ukrainian officials who are mysteriously buying a second and third mansion. I saw a receipt today. I didn't share it because I had to double check. I always try to fact check stuff I see on X myself before I show it. But there was a post where it was like this advisor to Zelensky had like 8 properties that he bought over the last 3 years. I'm like, bro, come on. I got to fact check that. But there's all these stories of the Ukrainians buying houses. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're just doing it right in the open.
Absolutely. And we see those weapons that are being sent to Ukraine end up in places like Burkina Faso in the hands of terrorists. So it's a big international scheme to get weapons to other organizations that are attacking on behalf of Western interests. Mid-spits, Ukrainians go in, money comes out, buy more stocks, guys. That's capitalism. Feed me Seymour. No empathy. Gone in the culture. We can see dead, sick, dying all day. People walk by, used to it. No empathy. See how that works? It's terrible. That's terrible for the human condition. Kylie Jones. All that majority report money can't fill that hole where her soul is supposed to be. Yep.
Well said.
It's all good. We're feeding the poors into the grinder for fun, for profit. Midsbits, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin stocks go boom. That's what it's all about. Kylie Jones, influencers like Emma and David Pakman get coached up on their synthetic left talking points every morning. I don't know if it's every morning, but they definitely do. Miss Kiwi, Nick, you know Gloria Steinem is Christian Bale's stepmother?
Bro, they all fucking related. All these Epstein demons, bro, I swear. Isn't Bush and Obama like distant cousins or some shit? They're all inbred fuckers, man. I promise. Sorry to be vulgar on the answer, but man, I hate these people.
It's one big club and you ain't in it. Vincent Gauthier, Azovs are peppered near the front to kill anyone who flees or surrenders. That's absolutely true. I heard that from people on the ground. Because of the way that these people are kidnapped into the army, a lot do try to flee, but there are snipers and other people standing right there ready to kill them if they're not going to the front lines and proceeding. So it's terrible. People are literally being forced into this at the barrel of a gun. Saul Good, Social Democrats support empire. Spiffity Keen, Western politics is the perfect space for narcissists. It is indeed. Kill your ergos. Right on, Nick, at night, and damn it, missed it. Well, you still got another good hour. Billy Valine, she's a shallow airhead who pretends to be even dumber than she is. She does the naive idiot act every couple of weeks or whatever. They are all really good at playing stupid. Even though they've had the information, they see our takes, they see other anti-imperialist mainstream talking points, so they know exactly what they're doing and they love playing stupid or acting like they just learned some new information. Fun Buddy, you rock. Thank you. So do you.
Yeah, we got a lot of new viewers tonight. Appreciate you guys.
Ayot. Majority report watchers gotta be brain dead to listen to this slob daily.
Man. Dude, you gotta realize, even when I was a Bernie bro, even when I was a little bit more to the right, I never understood their appeal. There was no point in my political development where I ever was like, yeah, those majority report guys on top of the game. I would never understand it, fam. Would never get it. I think that class dynamics. I just simply can't even comprehend. Find them informative or funny. Like Sam Cedar is supposed to be like a comedian. Bro, what?
Yep, he did Bob's Burgers. Yeah, and he.
That's why they support Nazis in Ukraine. You don't get that job unless you support NATO, fam. You don't get that job. You have to be an insider. Because I don't get it. I just don't get it.
These people all benefit from the system, so they ultimately just want reforms, but to protect the system. We want to actually develop a different system like China that benefits everybody. Stuart Redwards, nobody on the correct side has that much trouble trying to articulate their position. Ooh, yeah, they love that word salad. AOC too. They'll just.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who felt like she was having an intense struggle session. like trying to rationalize yourself. Bro, Cenk Uygur just threw in the towel. Like when the Ukraine-Israel thing became too transparent, you see that's when he gave up. Emma, she just soldiered on. She didn't give a fuck how bad she sounded. I can't believe people listen to that and think that she has a coherent thought. It was. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's seen that. She struggled through that very badly.
Chief Madhu, thank you for the $5. There is an increasing number of these Palestine Ukraine flag liberals now carrying the free Tibet flag. Oh, Lord. Tibet has already been freed. Well, you can thank communist China for that. Mike Check, thank you for the $9.99. Glad to have you back safely, Nick. Great stream. Keep exposing these NATO clowns. Free Palestine.
Appreciate
And
you, Mike.
our last chat for the day. Chief Madhu, thank you for the $5. I didn't know Azov kills people trying to flee Ukraine. Isn't that what the Empire accuses North Korea of doing to their people? It's always pure projection. Every accusation is a confession, remember, guys.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. So I think that's last chat, isn't it, Zoya?
Yes, sir.
I bet. So we are big back. Feels good, doesn't it? Big back. Nice 2.5 hours, 2.5 hour stream to return. So appreciate all the new viewers. We had 10.1K. So I appreciate all the new people who found our channel. We got a ton of Green Party support. Like, bro, when I went to that, I was blown away. Like the amount of people in the Green Party who supporting RBN, who listen all the time. So I appreciate you guys. And I just want to advocate everyone, like, get out there. That was something that really, every time I have these events, I always think like, man, I really wish the left could come together and attend more of these events with each other, get to know each other, log off and stop falling for these fake online left views and beefs, and let's start building something. So it was great to meet all you guys in the Green Party last week. I'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're gonna start another streak, and I don't plan on breaking it anytime soon. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. We'll be back live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the same time. And I also got a bonus show with Jamal on Sunday. So essentially 4 times a week. So it's gonna be a lot of work because I do my hotspot as well. So that's a lot of work. So if I need you guys to support my labor for doing that, Patreon in the description. Support RBN Mutual Aid. We're due to send some more funds to another Palestinian family here soon. I'm sure we hit our metrics. So that will be announced very soon. So support our mutual aid and get active, do something, reject political nihilism, and let's start building something. Zoya, I'll let you send us off. I appreciate you guys.
Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. You can also find us on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, X, and Telegram. Links are all in the description. Thank you so much for all of your support, fam. Remember that everything you do matters. You see Nick is out there trying to organize, meet with ACP, meet with Green Party. Find who's doing what in your neighborhood. Join an organization. Just get to know your neighbors. Form support networks. Help each other out. Contradictions are heightening, and more people are going to come to our position, and we have to be organizationally and structurally ready for that. So just remember, it's a generational fight. Keep building, and we will win.